morning, children. Hope you are doing fine. So I hope you understood yesterday's topic, that is evolution of the circulatory system or transportation in the different phylums and all. So we'll continue a little bit now, and after that we'll go to a very important topic, that is coagulation of blood, how the blood clots. Okay, so before that we'll try to see four different vertebrates and their circulatory systems. Okay, now coming to the fishes. When you see the fishes, the heart of the fish, like you'll have only two chambers. Only, as you know, it is auricle or atrium, and then next one is the ventricle. Okay, so the blood is directly sent from the auricle to the ventricle, and from the ventricle the blood is circulated. So this is what is the heart of a fish like. It has only two chambers. Okay, it has only two chambers. One is auricle and second one is the ventricle. Okay, now coming to the amphibians. When you come to the amphibians, they will have three chambers. That is, there are two auricles and there is one ventricle. Okay, and apart from that, there is sinus venesis. Sinus venesis is a kind of sac-like structure which is formed because of the three veins. Okay, now these are the three veins and this is the structure which is formed. Okay, and that is the sinus venesis. So basically you can say that the amphibians will have three-chambered heart. Okay, there are two auricles and there is one ventricle. Okay, so these three will carry the impure blood. The sinus venesis will store the impure blood. Now coming to the reptiles. Basically, reptiles also will have a three-chambered heart. It also will have the three-chambered heart, but whereas the left ventricle is incompletely divided. Very important question. So you can see here, this is absolutely incompletely divided. So you'll have a incompletely divided ventricle. Okay, so basically there are three chambers, but you will also have an incompletely divided ventricle, right? So this is about the heart in the fishes, reptiles and the amphibians. But when you come to birds and mammals and all, like, they will have a four-chambered heart. As we are studying, there are two auricles and there are two ventricles. So it is a basic thing which we are actually looking into the different circulatory systems here. So fishes will have two chambers, reptiles will have three chambers and one incompletely divided ventricle. And then coming to the amphibians will have only three chambers, and whereas coming to the birds and mammals and aves and whatnot, all the vertebrates, okay, they will have four-chambered heart. Okay, so this is the one which is very important, and especially the important question comes from here, from the reptiles, that is, which particular animal has or species has incompletely divided heart. Okay, and examples will be given as frog, fish, okay, man, monkey. So which is the right option? Yes, frog is the right option, because frog is an animal. Snake, crocodile. So now which is the right option here? So snake is the right option, because snake belongs to the reptiles. Okay, so like this, the questions will come in the examinations, especially the question comes in the reptiles. So keep that in mind. Very important question, and definitely you have to answer this question in the examinations. Okay, so now remaining all, you just try to remember all those things. Now we'll go to a very important topic, which is called as the coagulation of blood. Here, coagulation in the sense, nothing but clotting. Nothing but clotting. Now, just we'll try to understand this particular topic now. Just assume that you had a cut in your leg, right? And the blood is oozing out. How much time it will take for you, to see that a red color solid spot is formed? So it might take around 3 to 6 minutes. In 3 to 6 minutes, the clot is completely formed and the blood will stop oozing. If it is a very deep cut, it might take very little extra time, and also you need to go to a doctor. But if it is a small and general cut, then to clot, it might take around 3 to 6 minutes of time. So this 3 to 6 minutes of time is taken so that the clot is formed, a solid structure is formed over there, and the blood will stop coming out. Okay, children. So if there is no clot, what happens is, so within no time, the blood will ooze out and there will be a severe loss of blood. So that is what we usually see in the accidents, right? So when people are suffering from accident, so when people meet with accidents, you might see there will be a severe loss of blood, isn't it? So there will be loss of blood in such a way that even people die because of loss of blood. Okay, so now when you come to a small wound, you can see the clot. So how this clot is formed? Okay, that is what we are going to see now. Already in the previous class, we have seen that there are blood platelets in the cell. So when you talk about the blood, there are RBC, WBC, and blood platelets. RBC are nothing but the red blood cells, which are also called as the erythrocytes. WBC are called as the white blood cells, which are also called as the leukocytes. And then there are blood platelets. So these blood platelets are the ones which basically help in the clotting of the blood. So now we'll see the process of the clotting of blood, how the blood is clotted. Okay, right. Okay, children, so we'll start from the beginning. So this, whatever I'm going to tell you now, you remember this. You have to remember this, and you should not. You should never forget this, because, the questions will come from this. Especially 1 mark questions will come from this objective, where there are 4 options, and that options will definitely confuse you if you don't remember the points which I tell you now properly. So if you don't remember them, definitely what will happen is you will definitely lose 1 mark. Okay, now if they might come in 1 mark or 2 marks question, or even the objective also. Okay, so you remember the order in which I'm telling you now, right? So we'll start now. So when the blood flows out, that means whenever you have a wound and a hollow, like the blood platelets, so this is the work they are doing now. The blood platelets will release an enzyme, which is called as the thrombokinase. So very, very important word, that is thrombokinase. Kinase. Whenever a word is ending with ase, it is an enzyme. So whenever the blood flows, or whenever the blood comes out of the body, because of the wound and all, so the blood platelets which are there in our blood will release an enzyme which is called as thrombokinase. What is the enzyme which is being released here? That is thrombokinase. Okay. Now there is another substance which is present in our blood, which is called as the prothrombin. Now, whatever the enzyme which is released here, now it is a substance which is present in our body. Okay, children, so now coming to the prothrombin. It is a substance, otherwise you can call it as a protein. It is a protein which is secreted by the liver. Okay, which is secreted by the liver, and this prothrombin is one of the, not only factor, but it is one of the factors which will help in the clotting of the blood. So this, when it is present here, now this is present in our blood. It is present in our blood. Okay, so we have seen two things now. Platelets which are present in the blood are releasing the, they release a enzyme which is called as thrombokinase, and there is already a protein which is present in the blood, and that one is called as the prothrombin. And this thrombokinase, what it will do is it will act upon the prothrombin and convert this prothrombin into thrombin. It will convert this into what? A substance called as thrombin. So children, now two things are very clear. Okay, whenever the blood flows out, blood platelets will release an enzyme which is called as thrombokinase, and this thrombokinase enzyme will act on the prothrombin. It's a substance which is nothing but a protein which is secreted by the liver and which comes into the blood. Okay, that will be converted. This whole prothrombin is now converted into what? Thrombin. Right? This thrombin is a kind of protease. It's a serine protease. We call it as the serine protease. Okay, which you'll study in your higher classes, not necessarily now. Okay, so this thrombin will act upon another enzyme, act upon other substance which is called as the fibrin. And this fibrin is actually in a dissolved state. That is a kind of liquid state. So this fibrin is in the dissolved state, right? Thrombin is acting upon what? Fibrin, and that is dissolved in the dissolved state. And when the thrombin acts upon the fibrin which is in the dissolved state will convert into insoluble fibrin. So this is the next phase. Okay, so when prothrombin is converted to thrombin because of the action of thrombokinase, okay, then this thrombin will act upon the fibrin, which is in which state? It is in the dissolved state, and then it is now converted into insoluble fibrin. Keep that in mind, children. So this insoluble fibrin or fibrin fibers. Okay, children. Now what happens here is, now for example, now this is the place, okay, of a leg where you had a blood clot. Okay, so whenever there is a clot here, what happens here? The blood platelets will release the thrombokinase, and this thrombokinase will act upon the prothrombin. Prothrombin will convert this, is converted to thrombin. Thrombin will act on the other substance which is called as the fibrin, which is in the dissolved state, and then it will convert it into insoluble fibrin. Now this complete insoluble fibrin will be here. It's nothing but the fiber-like substances, like the thread-like substances which are present here. Okay, they come here to the wound, and then what happens is all the blood cells, okay, all the blood cells, I mean red blood cells and all the other clotting factors now, they will directly come here and they get twisted up. They get mixed up, they get caught up at this particular place. Okay, so all these are, when they are caught up here, because they are all thread-like structures which are here, right? Fibrin fibers. So they are all caught up here, and now what happens is, within 3 to 6 minutes, it will form into a clot. So this formation is called as the coagulation. We call it as the coagulation. So a clot is formed, right? A clot is formed. When a clot is formed, it takes around 3 to 6 minutes of time. So if a clot has to form, the whole process has to take place. The complete process has to take place if at all a clot has to be formed. I think children, you understood this small point, and also because this is a very very important point, please keep in your mind. Okay, so remember all these words: thrombokinase, prothrombin, thrombin, fibrin, and insoluble fibrin or fibrin fibers, right? And that is how all the cells will come there. They get caught up, mixed up, and then they will form into a clot-like thing. Okay, and now this clotting has also a relation with the vitamin K. When you are reading about the vitamin K, we have already studied that this vitamin K is a clotting factor, right? It is helping. It helps in the clotting of the wounds and all, like so. And especially when there is congenial marriages, that is the marriages between the two very close relatives, right? When two close relatives they get married and all, like there will be a genetic disorder of this particular vitamin K deficiency, and it might take a very long time for the children who are born, and also it will take a very long time for clotting. Sometimes it might take very very long time. So this condition where an extra time is taken for the clotting of the wound is called as the hemophilia. This condition is called as the hemophilia. This disorder, you can say, it's called as the hemophilia. Okay, this is a very common factor in the children who are born because of the congenial marriages. Congenial in the sense here, the marriage between the two close relatives, right? So, and also this is, it's not only one of the disorder which is especially seen in the clotting of the blood, and second disorder is also thalassemia. This is what we are going to read at the end of the unit. Okay, children, so this is about the coagulation of the blood. Hope you all understood this, and also I hope and I wish you keep this in your mind, and you should not forget that. So whenever there are examinations and when this question comes, it's very easy. But if you remember the words and all, it will be very easy for you to answer also. Okay, children. So this is all for today. See you all. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.